Jacob, a central figure in the Old Testament, is remembered as a man whose destiny was shaped by a complex mix of personal struggles, profound transformations, and divine interventions. As the son of Isaac and the grandson of Abraham, he was part of a lineage directly blessed by God, a lineage that carried the promised covenant to form a great nation. However, despite these blessings, Jacob's journey was marked by many highs and lows. His name, meaning one who grasps the heel or supplanter, gave an early indication of the conflicts that would define much of his life, especially in his early years. From the moment of his birth, grasping his twin brother Esau's heel, the scene was set for familial rivalry. Jacob's relationship with Esau was filled with tension from the start. Esau, as the firstborn, was the natural heir to the family blessings and rights. But Jacob, with the clever encouragement of his mother Rebekah, deceived his blind father Isaac to receive the blessing meant for the elder brother. This act of betrayal did not go without consequences. From that moment, the rivalry between the brothers became a deep and lasting rift, forcing Jacob to flee from Esau's wrath. Jacob then set out for his uncle Laban's house, where he would experience a series of events that would shape his life, filled with moments of great happiness, but also betrayals mirroring his own. In this period of exile, Jacob began to feel the weight of his actions, leading him to moments of spiritual reflection and transformation. During his time with Laban, Jacob experienced the bitter irony of his past deeds. The man who had deceived his brother and father was now deceived by his own uncle on multiple occasions, particularly when Laban made him work for many years to marry Rachel, only to substitute her for Leah, Rachel's older sister, on their wedding night. Even so, Jacob persevered, eventually marrying Rachel and starting a large family. It was during this time of challenges and disappointments that Jacob had profound encounters with God, the most notable being at Bethel. There, God reaffirmed the covenant made with Abraham and Isaac, promising Jacob that his descendants would multiply like the dust of the earth, spreading in all directions and influencing all nations. These promises, however, did not erase the conflicts Jacob faced, both internal and external. After many years, and after forming a large family, Jacob decided to return to his homeland and seek reconciliation with his brother Esau. This decision was not easy, for he knew he would have to confront the brother he had fled from. On this journey back, Jacob had one of the most mysterious and significant encounters of his life. He wrestled through the night with a mysterious being who, in the end, revealed himself as a manifestation of God. This physical struggle symbolized the spiritual and emotional battles Jacob had fought throughout his life. In the end, Jacob emerged victorious, but not without receiving a new identity. God gave him the name Israel, meaning one who struggles with God, marking a transformation not only in his identity, but in his destiny, as he was now destined to be the father of a great nation. Over time, Jacob became the patriarch of 12 sons, each of whom would play a crucial role in forming the 12 tribes of Israel. These sons, born of his wives Leah and Rachel, and his concubines Bilhah and Zilpah, carried with them a mixed heritage of blessings and challenges. The individual stories of each son reflect not only the complexities of human nature, but also the family dynamics that shaped their lives and destinies. Through their flaws and virtues, Jacob's sons helped lay the foundation for the future nation of Israel. The 12 sons of Jacob and the tribes of Israel. First, Reuben, the firstborn of Jacob and Leah, was born with all the advantages and responsibilities that came with being the eldest son. As the firstborn, he was entitled to a double portion of the family inheritance and leadership over the family after Jacob's death. However, despite this promising beginning, Reuben's life was marked by a grave mistake that disqualified him from his rights. He committed an act of great disrespect toward his father by sleeping with Bilhah, Jacob's concubine, and the mother of 2 of his brothers. This act of betrayal was a direct offense to Jacob's authority and a violation of family norms. Although Jacob did not confront Reuben immediately, the resentment over this betrayal was evident in Jacob's final blessings to his sons. Despite showing signs of leadership on other occasions, such as when he attempted to save Joseph from his brother's plan, Reuben's error was too great to overlook. He was ultimately replaced by his younger brothers in positions of leadership and inheritance. Second, Simeon, and third, Levi. Simeon and Levi, the two eldest sons of Jacob and Leah after Reuben, were men of strong temperaments and impulsive actions. The most notable story involving these two brothers occurred after their sister Dinah was dishonored by Shechem, the local prince. Simeon and Levi took justice into their own hands, plotting a violent revenge against Shechem and all the men of his city. They deceived the people of Shechem, convincing them to be circumcised under the pretext of allowing a marriage between Dinah and Shechem. When the men were weakened by the circumcision, Simeon and Levi attacked and killed every man in the city. This massacre brought great shame upon Jacob's family, who feared retaliation from neighboring tribes. As a result, Jacob, in his final blessings, prophesied that the tribes descended from Simeon and Levi would be scattered among the other tribes of Israel as punishment for their excessive violence. Fourth, Judah. Judah, the fourth son of Jacob and Leah, had a life marked by significant ups and downs, going from betrayal to redemption. Initially, Judah showed little compassion when he suggested selling his brother Joseph into slavery rather than killing him, which he believed was a pragmatic solution to rid themselves of Joseph without the guilt of murder. However, over time, Judah underwent a remarkable transformation. When his younger brother Benjamin's life was at risk, Judah offered himself as a substitute, demonstrating a level of sacrifice and leadership that had not been seen in him before. This act of redemption elevated him to a position of prominence among his brothers, and his tribe would later become the royal lineage of Israel, from which both King David and, eventually, the Messiah, Jesus Christ, would descend. Jacob blessed Judah with a prophecy of kingship, foreseeing that the scepter would never depart from his descendants. Fifth, Dan, the firstborn of Bilhah, Rachel's servant, held a unique importance among Jacob's sons, though his story is less detailed. His name, meaning judge, reflects the role he and his descendants would play in the history of Israel. Jacob prophesied that Dan would judge his people, but also compared him to a serpent along the path, suggesting that he would use his cunning for both good and evil. The tribe of Dan eventually strayed from God's ways, being one of the first to fall into idolatry, a stain that would mark the legacy of his descendants. Sixth, Naphtali. Naphtali, also the son of Bilhah, received a blessing that reflected his peaceful and agile nature. Jacob compared him to a doe set free, highlighting his freedom and grace. Naphtali and his tribe, who later settled in the fertile lands around the Sea of Galilee, were known for their bravery and swiftness. Although Naphtali is not associated with major conflicts or family strife, his tribe played an important role in Israel's battles, being recognized for their dexterity and courage in combat. Seventh, Gad. Gad, the son of Zilpah, Leah's servant, received a blessing that emphasized his strength and resilience. His name, meaning good fortune or troop, predicted the future of his tribe, which settled in a region frequently attacked by enemies. The tribe of Gad, located east of the Jordan River, became famous for their combat skills and bravery. The Gadites were often the first to face the enemy, serving as a frontline defense for the rest of Israel. Although his personal story is quiet, Gad's legacy is one of endurance and strength, a testimony to the ability to overcome adversity. Eighth, Asher. Asher, the second son of Zilpah, was blessed with promises of prosperity and abundance. His name, meaning happy or blessed, reflected the optimism with which his mother Leah welcomed him, seeing him as a sign of good fortune. The tribe of Asher settled in a fertile coastal region, known for its olive groves and vineyards, allowing them to live in abundance. Asher's descendants provided not only for themselves but also for others, becoming a symbol of peace and prosperity, living relatively quietly compared to the other tribes of Israel. Ninth, Issachar. Issachar, the ninth son of Jacob and Leah, was compared by his father to a strong donkey lying between two burdens, a metaphor for his hard-working and resilient nature. The tribe of Issachar, later known for its wisdom and understanding of the times, played an important role in Israel's spiritual and intellectual life. Although Jacob's blessing hinted that Issachar might become complacent and willing to submit to forced labor in exchange for stability, the tribe demonstrated great discernment and prudence, becoming a source of wise leaders and counselors for the people of Israel. 10th, Zebulun. Zebulun, the 10th son of Jacob and Leah, was blessed with a promise of prosperity through trade and maritime activities. His tribe settled in a coastal region near Sidon, giving them a strategic position for trade with other nations. Zebulun and his descendants were skilled merchants, contributing to Israel's economic growth and serving as intermediaries between the inland tribes and the outside world. Jacob's blessing for Zebulun celebrated his adventurous spirit and success in trade, making him a pillar of Israel's economy. 11th, Joseph. Joseph, Jacob's most beloved son, lived an extraordinary life marked by betrayal, trials, and ultimate triumph. As the firstborn of Rachel, Jacob's favorite wife, Joseph was the target of great jealousy from his brothers. This jealousy culminated when they sold him into slavery, separating him from his family for many years. However, Joseph remained faithful to God, even in adversity, and rose to power in Egypt, becoming second in command after Pharaoh. His story is a powerful example of forgiveness and reconciliation, as Joseph, when reunited with his brothers, forgave them and ensured the survival of his entire family during a time of great famine. 12th, Benjamin. Benjamin, the youngest son of Jacob and Rachel, was born under tragic circumstances, as his mother died during childbirth. The youngest of the brothers, Benjamin was deeply loved by his father, especially after the presumed loss of Joseph. His tribe later became known for their fierce warriors, and from his lineage came Saul, the first king of Israel. Although Benjamin was the youngest, his importance in the reconciliation of Jacob's family was invaluable, playing a central role in the reunion between Joseph and his brothers. Conclusion: the 12 sons of Jacob represent an impressive variety of personalities and destinies, and through their lives, we see how God used their virtues and flaws to shape the nation of Israel. Each of these sons brought not only their personal stories of struggle and growth, but also a unique contribution to the formation of the 12 tribes of Israel, which would later become the foundation of God's chosen people. The story of Jacob and his sons reminds us of the complexities of human nature, the tension between failure and redemption, and the capacity for transformation through faith. Though these men were imperfect and often made wrong decisions, God was able to use their lives to accomplish his purposes. The tribes of Israel, formed from these 12 sons, would play essential roles in fulfilling God's promises to Abraham and shaping the spiritual and historical landscape of the nation of Israel. Each of Jacob's sons' lives serves as an example of how God can work through human weaknesses to achieve his plans. Whether through Judah's repentance, Joseph's courage, or even Simeon and Levi's violence, God transformed their lives into instruments for fulfilling his will. Thus, the story of Jacob's 12 sons continues to inspire us, teaching that no matter our mistakes and failures, there is always room for redemption and the fulfillment of the divine purpose.